Oh,
you
that's
know,
cool.
he does that a lot.
Then the movie came out, and then
I mean, in Freddy vs. Jason, like a couple weeks before the film, they actually went to Las Vegas and had a weigh-in.
Right, that was great.
And fucking Robert Englund just spending the whole time like calling him a hockey puck, and it's fucking amazing. That video's online. Go watch it. It's fucking incredible.
So, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, begins with John Doe, who does not get a name to the whole film. He's just John Doe.
He is John Doe.
On a plane.
Yep.
Pretty quickly realizes this is a bad dream.
Well, no, he doesn't actually.
No.
He's all in. The plane's shaking around. There's turbulence and shit. So he immediately calls up the stewardess and is just like, "Do we have another seat? I can't sit here," because he's afraid of heights. Although he doesn't say that until a minute. But she's just like, "Sorry, you'll have to stay put. The plane's full." And he's like, "Okay." And then little girl pops up and says, "He's gonna make you help him because you're the last." And he's like, "Well, I don't know what the fuck that was." And then he looks out the window and notices condensation on it. So he literally wipes his finger on it and realizes that the rain is inside the window. So then he really tries to get the fucking thing. And so he calls the stewardess, says, "Sit down, we can't help you." And he turns to the lady sitting next to him and is just like, "I'm afraid of heights." And she said, "Don't be a pussy." Which makes me laugh. Every time that, the delivery is genius. And then the fucking roof opens up and the old lady comes flying out.
She gets ejected.
Yeah. And he screams, "It's not fair, I was almost out." And then he falls through the floor.
He goes the other way.
Yeah, he goes the other way. Lands in his house. Wakes up. Fuck, that was a scary dream. Gets up. I don't like this, because immediately I'm like, wait, we're supposed to, what? Because he literally gets up to go look out the window. And it's like very tense. Like, this is not the fourth time we've done this yet. This is the first one. Why would we be tense to open the window? But then we find out why, because he opens the window and he's still fucking falling in the house.
Yep.
Then the Wizard of Oz theme happens.
Yep.
And then you hear a cackling in the background. And then fucking Freddy pimps up and on a broom with a cape.
And a hat.
And a hat.
Which is hat, not his.
Yeah,
not his
yeah.
hat.
He's. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul too. Ha 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 ha. And everyone but me by this point checks out. I'm
quite
literally. Right in there. Yeah, I'm right in there. This is now. I'm like, oh, so this is the movie we're watching. Okay, I get this. It's just a joke now. And then the house lands. He falls out the window. And then where is he? He's at 1427 Elm Street. Looks across the street. There's the broken down Freddy house. He runs the fuck away, climbs the fence, and falls down a hill. And this is fucking hilarious because this is how they're doing the credits, by spinning and shit like that. I laugh every time because there's one point where the what's his name, the stunt guy, has stopped rolling, so he just jumps. You can see him jump and flip.
Oh, I stopped rolling, so I gotta keep rolling.
He's gotta keep going. It makes me laugh every time.
So he finally gets to the base of the hill.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to get out of town.
Yeah.
He's got to get out of Dodge.
Mm-hmm.
So he runs up to a booth, looks like for bus tickets.
Yep. This would be Bob Shea.
Bobby Shea.
Bob Shea in his, not his final appearance, but his final appearance in the formal... No, sorry, I guess if you count Freddy vs. Jason, he's in that too. Alright, so Bob Shea doing another fucking role, because that's what Bob Shea likes to do.
Yeah.
So you can't tell Bob Shea he can't act in a movie, because he will fire you. So he said he's got a claw, and he's just like, one ticket, round trip, and hands him the ticket with the glove. Hurry up, boy, you don't want to miss the bus. And he starts laughing and shit like that. And then a ghost bus shows up.
I think it was blood-stained windows as well,
yeah,
right?
It is.
Ghost bus shows up.
Yeah, ghost bus fucking shows up. And it hits John Doe.
Doesn't kill him.
It doesn't kill him. Freddy's driving. No screaming while the bus is in motion. Fuck me. And then Freddy realizes where he's at, and then he stops sharp, and fucking John Doe flies out off the front of the bus and makes a Looney Tunes hole.
A literal
Looney Tunes hole, which is exactly where we are here. Freddy is Bugs Bunny. And it makes a hole, and then he falls out. And this is where it's just like, oh, we're not even paying attention to the franchise anymore. He falls out, hits his head on a rock, he's unconscious. Freddy looks out and just goes, now be a good little doggy and go fetch. We don't know what that means, but now we understand that you can leave the dream world by leaving the state. I can understand why everybody hates this movie. I'll get to my defense at the end.
Your Honor.
I will not defend it now. I will be right with you making fun of it, because this is unbearably stupid. I will admit. But I do have defenses for all of this, and I will get to it in the end.
Now, whether those defenses
hold
make
water,
logical sense,
probably
or hold
not.
water?
Probably not. But I do have excuses. Is more than defenses.
Excuses
I have excuses than defenses.
So you're an apologist.
Yes, kind of. Yeah. But I understand that this is unbearably dumb.
So the whole gets closed up, and we meet the rest of the characters for this film.
We do.
We meet Spencer, Maggie, and Tracy. Tracy and Spencer are kids in a home, like a youth shelter.
Yep.
And Maggie is like, I guess,
no,
is
sorry,
she their worker?
She's the social worker that's assigned to that shelter.
Yes. Well, first we meet Spencer, and then Maggie shows up.
Yeah, and then because Spencer's talking to his dad, and his dad's telling him like, I don't want you fucking, I put you here because I couldn't deal with you, and now when I come home, I expect to see an improvement. Blah blah blah.
Continuing the long line tradition of shitty parents.
But then we just cut out the middleman and put them in a fucking foster home, because fuck this. They're in an orphanage, a shelter, a youth shelter. And then
it goes to Maggie, it's like, you fix my kid.
Basically it's
a
just
Hyundai.
Like, nice job on my kid. I expected some improvement. She turns and is like, he isn't a Toyota. And literally calls him a jerk in front of the kid.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you okay? And he's like, yeah. Dad just set some ground rules for when I come home. No more setting his cars on fire, And she's just like, well, there's better ways to get his attention than blowing up the garage. She's like, are you kidding? He barely even blinked. It's like, he just wants me to grow up and be an exact copy. But personally, I don't feel like date raping co-eds.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're right. His dad wants him to grow up and be a rapist, just like him.
All right.
This is awkward, is all I can really say with that.
So the cops bring in Tracy, and...
Kind of. You see Tracy running and saying, get your hands off me, and then the fucking cops are chasing after her, and Maggie goes running, and she's like, whoa, what the hell's going on? And it's like, she was beating on one of the kids again. So he was trying to hit on me. So you beat the shit out of him? Like, what was he doing? Probably fucking Spencer's dad. That would be the only reason to beat him up. And then she's just sort of like, she doesn't like to be touched. Sorry, sir. And she's like, we have a session. I got Doc's class. Work around him. And then she fucks off.
Third and final kid, Carlos.
No, we don't find Carlos yet. We get to the scene where the cops pull up to John Doe.
He's like eating a sandwich out of the garbage.
Yeah, he looks like and they in the best cop, again, more Wes Craven tropes of cops are fucking assholes. They pull up and it's just like, you seen this junkie before? No, he's new. Fuck, another afternoon doing juvie paperwork. Screw that shit. Let's just scoop him up and take him to the shelter. Let the bleeding hearts do the typing. And they fucking pick him up and throw him in the shelter.
Police.
Yeah. Cops, serve and protect, huh? Yeah, or throw kids in the fucking shelter because we don't want to do our job today.
Yeah. This is where we meet Carlos, the third and final kid. Kind of just, he's like...
he's calling play-by-play while Tracy's hitting the bag.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And then Tracy is, like, getting annoyed with him, so she's just like, come on, let's spar, or whatever. And he's just like, but you wouldn't hit a guy with a handicap because he's got a hearing aid. He pulls the hearing aid out, and he can't hear her. Like, he's completely deaf without the hearing aid. Then Spencer grabs him and she's like, don't tune her out, all right? Like, why don't you talk back? He's like, I stopped talking back when it became hazardous to my health. Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
So we find out that they've given cash to the guy who usually drives the van, and they're going to stow away.
Yeah.
Because they need to get out.
Maggie and Doc, this is where Doc talks about a dream gate, basically, guarded by three demons?
What he's talking about is that because there's a poster on the wall of these dream demons.
Yeah.
And what they do is they just find the most sick and twisted individual alive and give them the power to cross the line between dreams and reality. So now we've given a reason why Freddy can do this. This film is out to ruin itself.
Oh, and then there's this too.
Yeah, it's very much like we're going to explain why everything's happening, and we're not going to do it well. That's what this movie's doing. Because we find out that
background we don't need nor wanted.
Yeah,
and is being executed questionably, and that's being generous.
Yeah, very much so. So it turns out the Doc is a therapist, but he's a therapist who works through dreams because he feels it's the only way he can reach these kids.
A dream doctor, if you will.
Which I give Maggie credit. The first thing she does is like, oh, dream therapy's gonna work? You're such a hippie. Which, yeah, he's just a hippie. That's all this is. I know.
Not a peace and love, but...
no, but just a damn dirty hippie. I don't want to dislike him, because he's also an alien, so it's kind of hard to dislike Yaphet Kotto, and if you do, I hate you.
So, I guess John gets brought in.
This is where we meet John Doe, or Maggie meets John Doe.
And he's spouting off about
and he's freaking
Freddy
the fuck out. Well, he's not saying Freddy,
but
he doesn't know because he's got amnesia, because apparently that hit in the head with the rock fucked his brain up, so he can't remember things. So she's just like, so how long have you been awake? And he's like, I don't know, a couple days. She says, more like a couple weeks. He says, well, this is the thing amnesiacs don't do, by the way. He's just like, well, that's the wonder of amnesia. Always keeps you guessing. And like, people don't say that. Okay, cool. I get it. You want to reinforce that it's amnesia. Gotcha. And then she's just like, where are you from? And he screams, I don't know. And then he asks her for something to stay awake, because he knows if he falls asleep, something bad will happen. He doesn't know what, but he knows something bad will happen. So he says, do you have any caffeine pills? Maybe some coffee, maybe some Coke. I meant the soda.
The funny thing is, when he says that, there's a little Dare sticker.
Yeah.
Right in the corner there, and he looks down and he goes, I meant the soda.
Exactly. It's surprisingly well done.
Yeah.
For a movie that is littered with nonsense. They do some things right. And then, this is one of my favorite acting choices that a man can make. She tells him to sit down. I have never seen a human being more angrily sit down in a chair in my life. He picks up the chair, fucking slams it down, sits in it, and then fucking adjusts it angrily, and I'm like, why don't you just say I'm angry? Like, this is the single
because
worst
he's not good
choice.
at acting.
Like, it's like the famous Hercules scene where he says disappointed. It's the same shit. He's just so angrily sitting in a chair. I'm like, people don't do this.
You might as well just go grr.
Yeah. Like, it's so weird. And then this is where they talk about that he's from Springwood because he's got this little news clipping. And Maggie's looking at it. And then she falls asleep because that's what you do. And then we cut to her dream where you see a little girl running around fucking just in the backyard being chased by her parents.
You don't see their faces?
Nope, not at all yet, not yet. And then you just see the dad say, come to daddy, and reach his hands down, and then you hear a shriek from a woman, and then she bolts up. And it's like, something is quite off.
This is where John also gets into the fray. He drifts off and goes
John is counting bottles of beer on the wall and gets
to the utmost anger of, I think it's Carlos that throws the thing.
No, it's just random asshole.
So it's just
random dude.
There's other kids.
Yeah, because he basically
well.
he's saying like 4,567 bottles of beer on the wall, and then eventually somebody throws a pillow and says, "I'm going to break a bottle over your head if you don't shut the fuck up." And then John,
bitch, I'm trying to sleep. I'm not being chased by a demon. I like to get some snoozing done.
Exactly.
Please.
And somehow he's drinking coffee, but as we've decided that everybody in the nightmare world is narcoleptic when they need to stay awake, he falls asleep. Sorry, I got it mixed up. This is when we see Maggie's dream.
Yeah. It's happening
parallel, but it was
all these movies do that.
Yeah.
Where scenes happen
Yeah.
at the same time and they keep cutting back.
Yeah, and they cut back and forth.
It's not done well here. It's done well in other of the movies.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad here.
No.
There is worse. I think Nightmare 5 does it worse because it literally cuts from the same scene to another one. There's other movies that still do that today and it drives me insane. But this was a little bit, this was a little more self-contained. Yeah. Not great, but a little self-contained. So,
this is where he runs into himself in the room.
Yeah, basically what happened. This is where we attempt to call back to Nightmare 3. So he sees some blood drip on his face. The little girl comes back and just like, play with me. I couldn't remember the line. Play with me, and he's like, who am I? And she's like, I won't tell. So because he noticed blood on his face, whatever.
God, and the effect of him going up the stairs.
And that's the thing. He sleepwalks like Philip did in the third one, and then he sort of slowly walks up these invisible stairs. It doesn't look great.
Yeah.
It doesn't look great. Like, this is, unfortunately, it looks like they used CGI, and CGI just wasn't capable of this right. And then this is where he gets into the room where he sees himself, and you know, his trained up self literally says, like, "Free me, you idiot, of fucking memories." He freaks out, backs up, hits a fucking cop, who should have been paying attention to begin with. Who fucking heads out the window.
Falls, like, out of the window.
Like,
oh!
Like, oh my god, he fell out